Hi, today I'll teach you how to find the house position of the moon in your horoscope. And it's so important because it will show you what is the most deepest needs of a person, what makes him most comfortable or her most comfortable, what the person feels most at home with. It will show you the most, let's say, ingrained nature, the face that they don't show in public, but the very private face and the very private character of themselves, which gives them natural talents. But at the same way, the moon is so important to know about a person if you're going to live with that person, because you need to have compatible moon nature, because the moon shows how a person is in the most environment when he's most relaxed, when all the guards are down, so the most personal, vulnerable part of a person. And also the moon shows an area of life where it's more flexible, where it's more receptive, more feminine, where one needs nurturing, and when you have to be more careful in that area of your partner's life if you're looking at your partner's or your own horoscope. And the moon shows also the mother or the mother figures in your life, how you're nurtured emotionally and how you will nurture emotionally others. The moon will describe also the women in your life. Usually if you're a man, it will describe your primary partner that you marry, because usually it takes more, the wife takes a bit of a mother role later on in life as well. And a lot of other things which we'll talk about. But first of all, in order to find the moon house position, you need to know your time of birth. Without the time of birth, unfortunately, you cannot know the exact house position of the moon. To do that, go to my website astrolada.com, enter the exact, there is a birth chart calculator, there is a link directly to the birth chart calculator below this video. Enter the time of birth, the place of birth, the country of birth, the year, the day, everything. And once you have it, you get a table like that. You can use another birth chart calculator. Usually most will give you the circular chart. It doesn't matter which you use. We're using tropical Western astrology here. My birth chart calculator shows tropical positions, Western positions of the zodiac, and this is not Vedic astrology. I'm just using a chart which is more popular in Vedic astrology, but it's Western astrology. Or you can use the circular chart, and I want you to see where the symbols of the moon is. In my chart is indicates with MO, moon, abbreviation from the moon. And I want you, first of all, this is always the ascendant. This first square on top is the ascendant, and I want you to check the house position of the moon in two ways. Counting the squares in this direction, counterclockwise direction from the ascendant. Find out in which square the moon is. For instance, you might see the moon here. Sorry. MO. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So check the video for moon in the 5th house. And also, I want you to check what Roman numerical number is in the square where the moon is. For instance, if your moon is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, in the 4th square from the ascendant, which means it's in the 4th sign from the ascendant, I want you to check the video for moon in 4th house. But also, if you see the Roman numerical 5, I want you to check the video for the moon in the 5th house as well. Both house systems work, and both you identify with both. They're calculated in different ways, but they're within you both. Or sometimes you might have moon in the 1st square where the ascendant is, the ascendant sign, and also there will be the Roman numerical 1, so you have to check just for one house. But sometimes you might have for more than one houses to check. For 4th house, because the moon is in the 4th square from ascendant. For the 5th house, because the moon is in together with the 5th Roman numerical, and it might be as well another Roman numerical, which is number 6. So you have to check 3 house videos and you have to see which you identify best with. If you have the moon in the 11th house, you can find out if it's here, if it indicates in this square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 square from the ascendant, the 11th sign from the ascendant. Or sometimes the moon might be here, but the 11th house cast might be in the 12th sign from the ascendant. So if you have this position, also read the description, watch the description of moon in the 11th house. Sometimes the 11th house cast might be here in the 10th sign from ascendant. And if the moon is here, then watch the video of moon in the 10th house and moon in the 11th house. Watch both, because you have influence of both. And you have to decide, but let's see, most usually the 11th house cusp will be also in the 11th sign from ascendant, which is here. And what happens when you have the position there? Actually, it is financially for most people, okay, again, I say there are many exceptions. The horoscope chart is something which is holistic, which is taken as a whole. So looking at separate pointers of it never gives the full picture, but usually 11th house is the house of gains, financial gains, and the money that you make yourself, the money from your career, the money that you create, all the gainfulness that comes into your life. So such people have an emotional need to gain, emotional need to make their own money, emotional need to be successful financially, and they will usually achieve it. If such people are not in any way being gainful in their life, if they're not contributing, creating something that they can contribute to society or being gainful, they start feeling off balance, they start feeling unhappy. So if you have the moon in the 11th house, you need to be usually busy in career, making money, or being useful to society, because 11th house rules society, rules the social circle, big groups of people, friendships, and such people will have also emotional need of friendships, emotional need to belong to bigger groups of associations of people. For instance, they might feel very comfortable joining online groups of chatting, or joining or being a member of a big group, for instance. Whatever it is, it might be a group that goes biking together or groups that goes to the lectures together. They have this need to be in communities with others, even if such people, being a loner will be kind of not the best thing for them, because they need this emotional nurturance. They get this emotional nurturance and happiness when they're connected to others, to groups of people, to networks of people. And they're quite natural of creating such networks of people as well themselves. So they can be really good in careers that need networking, where you need connections, where you need to know the right people. And they quite often can know the right people, big earners in their life. They can know a few big earners. They can become big earners themselves in their life. They can have a very profitable financially life as well. And also such people, in another extreme, is that they can even become, they can even be willing to live in kind of more new age type of communities, or just more in communities like artistic communities or football communities. Their life and they'll feel so comfortable in big groups of people, so to speak. What kind of groups it is, it now depends on the person and his development. But also these people will have a natural affinity to ecology. They'll think about the best of the bigger group rather than the best of themselves only. So such people are very humanitarian, philanthropic often. They're often quite involved in social issues. Say even if it's in your neighborhood and in your own town that you're involved there with some social issues, you have an interest into the life of society as a whole, and contributing something and receiving validation from those people in society around you, from your peer groups. They will be very emotionally sensitive to the acceptance and validation from people like group peers, and social groups as well. As I said, they can be people who are quite interested in ecology, in communal living, in more a living which doesn't damage the environment, which actually contributes to the well-being of others, for more camaraderie, brotherhood type of environment, to contribute to the world, to contribute to society in some way. As I said, they also, it's very interesting that a lot of people with the moon in the 11th house, it's much more natural for them to become vegetarians or non-drinkers, because they're very much aware of the balance of networks and such complex big organisms like the nature and community living, and how not to disbalance the the balance in such networks, and usually such people have natural affinity towards animals as well, and towards because of this humanitarian pull in them, humanitarian affinity in them, they can often be vegetarians, as I said, or live extremely kind of ecological, clean life, which unharmful and helpful to others. And at least it's very good for such people if you have a child with the moon in the 11th house, get him involved in the community to contribute, to help, it will make him a ton of good for this child. It will make lots of friendships there. It will feel at home. It will be a natural in this kind of environment. And they'll be very emotionally attached to friendship and groups of friendship, but they'll be also very receptive. So you have to be careful what people you allow your child to associate with when they have the moon in the 11th house, because it picks up everything like a sponge, emotionally reacts a lot to everything that it learns from friends and peers. And if those are goths or blood drinking or something, satanic friendships or alcohol, pill popping, this child will very easily, or this person will very easily do what others do around it. So you have to make sure you surround or you allow very good friends, very clean, healthy people around such a child, because especially in the early part of life, in the first 30 years, person is very impressionable about the social environment and the people around them. And success to them can come through their connections, through their connections and benefactors, through their friends. Their friends can help them for success in their life normally, and through the people they know. And also, as we said, the 11th house is all kind of gains, but it can be also the mother or the mother side of the family can be helpful financially for the child, can help the child have some gains in their life, because the moon rules the mother. So it can help the child, the mother can help the child with ideas, with advice, or financially for the gainfulness of the child. And the mother also will be very much interested in 11th house things, because the moon describes the primary mother figure. Maybe she was very open-minded, humanitarian, intellectual, that is interesting in society of the whole, contributed to society, should have put some good principles normally in the life of the child, very friendly. The child would have very friendly, equal relationships usually with the mother. Of course, there are always exceptions, as we said. Always there can be certain extremes and exceptions, so you might be one of them. And the mother would have put some respect in the life of the person towards other women, and women will tend to, such person can make very easily women friends, and they can, because 11th house rules friendships and social connections, and moon is female planet, so females can be your friends, can be like your bigger sister to you. 11th house rules all the siblings, so you can have strong emotional attachment to all the siblings, or friends who feel like all the siblings, or any kind of benefactors and friends in your life. And usually it's a highly social personality. As I said, don't clip their wings, don't put them in a box, don't disallow them from meeting others and exchanging ideas and being in social environment. They needed to feel emotionally happy. If you have a boyfriend with the moon in the 11th house and you get upset that he sees his friends too much, well, actually, don't block him from doing that. He needs it. It's his emotional and most basic needs, is those big groups of people and friendships to stimulate this person. Thank you so much, and please share with me if I've forgotten something, and you add a bit from your own experience.